Hello, Dental Team listeners. This is Kiera, and today I like to get out of the hopes, the wish, the like, oh my gosh, are we going to be able to hit our goals or not? To actually set you and your team up to hit goals. So this is just a true like, is your team set up to hit what you guys have set up, or are we hoping, wishing, praying, wishing on stars, doing all the like magic dance? Let's truly help on this. We even have a goal projections calculator. So you guys can use that. It's something, email us hello@thedentalteam.com. I'm going to go through a bunch of these pieces today, but truly this is something that I think is going to be so helpful for you guys. Let's not hope, wish, pray, like do that, but let's have it be a bit more predictable. We've got to get it to where it's real. So many offices are like, I just want to hit this amount. And I'm like, cool. Why? And do you have a plan to get there? Every single piece. I don't care if you want to hit 2 million, 5 million, 20 million. All of it's doable. Let's just figure out the strategy. Let's figure out the plan. Let's create it. And then let's execute. Let's not just talk in hopes. Let's actually execute. So, but it has to actually be founded. Actually, it has to be foundational. Otherwise, no matter how hard they try, they will not hit it. So we're going to go from like wishful thinking to goal-driven execution. That way you guys can execute consistently. Dental team's obsessed with this. Our mission is to positively impact the world of dentistry in the greatest way possible and to help you have every possible amazing life opportunity that you possibly have ever dreamed of. We want you to lead with numbers, not just motivation. We want you to be confident in your decision making. I want you to be able to say yes to more things in your life, and that's focused on you as a person, earnings and profitability, and systems and team development. The yes model, making sure that you are truly set up for success. So we're going to teach you guys how to actually reach goals that you've set, how to be more consistent. It ties into quarterlies. We talk about that on podcasts. Like really it's tracking, it's measuring, but it's like foundational. We've got to make sure that we've got step one is clear, measurable, visible, and realistic. So often offices, I'm like, what are we even working towards? I'm like, I don't know. It does not have to be number centric either. It can be patient centric. It can be whatever it is. And I help offices see that like the numbers equate to the number of patients. And so when we look at this back and forth, it's really going to help us like drive these things forward. And so whatever it is, you just have to make a goal clear, measurable, visible, and realistic. So I'm talking like have a thermometer in your back room and we like fill it in every single month to see how close we are. I do not want you just to be talking about it just as noise. It's got to be visible. It's got to be specific and it's got to be realistic. And then it's broken down into daily, weekly, monthly goals that are going to help us with benchmarks on it. So many times people are like, it's so hard, Kiera, to add an extra 20 grand. And I'm like, but is it? If we're working 20 days a month, that's an extra $1,000. Let's talk about how easy is it to add $1,000 a day? Like just rattle off. What could we do? We could do fluoride. We could make sure our x-rays are there. We could add a couple extra fillings. Like that's all it is to add an extra 20 grand to a practice, but that's broken down into a daily realistic goal. This is going to help people also know what's their number that they actually can influence to drive the goal forward. So I'm very specific. If our goal is X, Y, or Z, we're going to then make sure every single department has something that they're driving this goal forward with that they can influence. And then we have a scoreboard. Like truly, teams do not win games by hoping, wishing that they got enough baskets in the hoop. They have the scoreboard there. They see, are they behind? Are they on track? Are they above goal? Are they behind goal? The entire game. It's not like, well, we're going to just like look at it once a month and hope like one time during the game, we're going to just throw that score up there real fast. Hope nobody really looks at it because, we just want them to play ball. No, we're here to win. We're here to make sure your practice is thriving. We're here to make sure that your systems are in place to make sure that you give the best patient and team experience. We need that scoreboard visible. Otherwise, how does the team know if we're winning, losing, or if we're on track? So break it down, monitor it. And I will tell you, when practices implement this, they instantly grow 10 to 25% consistently. Like it's a no-brainer because we're like, what you focus on, you achieve. What's in your mind's eye. It's like when you want to go buy a car, well, instantly you start seeing that car everywhere. And you're like, oh my gosh, there's that car again. Well, Toyota don't just like pump out a bunch more cars. You were focused on it, so you started to see it more. And what this is doing is it's focusing all of us on the goal and it's going to make it visible. So step one is you need to have your goal clear, measurable, visible, and realistic, and you need to post it this week. That's step one. Get it in there, physically post it, and start measuring on it. Now, every goal needs to have the role tied to the goal. So This is going to what we were talking about of like, you have to train each role what metric they can control. So hygiene reappointments, that's a big portion. Hygiene fluoride, hygiene production per day, having it visible, having them have their own metrics so they can see what should my daily goal be. You just give a hygienist this information, your hygiene production will go up naturally. If they start looking at it, you have them turn in their end of day production reports. They check it off compared to where they're supposed to be. Even if you have nothing tied to it, no pain, no gain, no nothing other than telling them what it is, you will increase because now they know. Front office, your billing, it's our AR needs to be X amount. This is our goal. This is our standard. Scheduling, we need to have our schedule filled 80% or 90%, whatever it is. That's less than one opening per day. We track it. We measure how many days do we not have it. It's like how many accident-free days did we have. Doctors hitting their dollar production per hour goal and checking off. Like literally, I've helped associates increase their associate production goal just by giving them a little calendar where they check off how many days they hit their goal. That's it. That's it. People love, like, I used to work at the dental college at Midwestern. If you don't know that, well, welcome. Hi, I'm Kiera Dent. I used to work in Arizona's dental college, and it was crazy. Our endo buckets were a hot mess. I had made these pictures. I had protocols. I had it. The number one thing that worked for me to get those endo buckets back clean was giving out gold stars to students. I kid you not. These are dental students. I had 140 of them in 2 different classes, so 280, and I had to get these buckets in. You can only imagine the amount of work I had to do. And that we're talking gutta percha, like the whole nonsense of these things. And the piece was, if I gave them a gold star, and then what people started doing is putting those gold stars on their name tags. And believe it or not, people were obsessed with getting those gold stars and tracking and measuring just with a simple gold star. And if their bucket wasn't perfect, they got a red or a green. They did not get the gold, or they had to go back and fix it to get the gold star. And it's crazy because when you do this, what it does is it connects the dots for team members, and then we're reinforcing good behavior of what we want more of. So when you start to have like every single role having their goals. So hygienists know what their metrics are. Dental assistants know their metrics. Front office knows their metrics. Doctors know their metrics. And we're tracking it. They're closing, like we are hitting our goals with so much more ease and continuity. This is how I take practices from producing 150 to 500,000. Like it's not sexy. It's not crazy. It's not hard. It's just consistent and being focused on the right things. So in your next meeting, like we've got the goal posted, it's visible. In the next meeting, ask each department, like, I break this down quarterly usually with departments, and I say like, all right, build your quarterly goal. What are we going to focus on? What are going to be the metrics that are going to help us get to this mountain over here, this big goal that we're focused on? What does your department need to do? Where are we lacking? Where are the gaps, and where can we improve? And then we start tracking it every single week. We review it every single month, and we start to help them exponentially grow. This is how we do it, and you can have that as a piece. And then third is we need to track the progress and adjust it weekly. So we're literally, like I said, you've got the goals, we're tracking it weekly. It's on there. And when a goal is red, we talk about it that week and we say, all right, this was off. What do we need to do? If hygiene teams are behind, the hygiene team gets together and we calibrate on how we do perio. If the doctors are not hitting their hourly goal, well, let's look, what are they diagnosing? What's our case acceptance close? What are our block schedules? When hygienists aren't able to hit enough perio, let's go look to see, do we have enough perio spaces within our schedule? But we start to identify these gaps early on, course correct quickly, so that way we're able to hit the goals consistently. And then like we celebrate those wins. So when you look at these things and you have your departments, this is where you have your department meetings every single week. People are like, what am I supposed to talk about? You talk about this. You talk about like, how can we win? We've got our scoreboard there. We're looking, are we behind? Are we ahead? And if we're ahead, great. How can we calibrate the whole department? How can we look for other things that would drive it forward? And it's not driving the practice forward so much as it is great team experience, great patient experience, great practice experience. It's not one is better than the other. All three of those are interconnected. And so start doing this, start tracking every single week, start having each team member tied to a goal, start having it, because when you do this, you're not just hoping and wishing. You literally know the score every single week. Owners, you will be so obsessed about this because now you know, like, are we going to win the game or are we going to lose the game? You're not hoping and wishing. You literally know at any given moment, so you can fix it out. Like at halftime, can you imagine, like my family, we all played basketball. So can you imagine for 1 second a basketball team that's like, well, it's halftime. We don't know if we're winning. We don't know if we're losing, but we're just going to go in there and we're going to pep talk. No, they're like, all right, we're behind. We need to go strategize. We need to go figure it out. Like, how are we changing this? Let's look back at our plays. What have we done well? What do we need to change? And they fix it to win the game. That doesn't mean we win everything, but it does mean that we're more consistent. It does mean that we're more focused on it. It does mean that we're more aligned, because honestly, what you focus on, you achieve. So go post your goals. Make sure they're realistic. We do have a whole projection calculator, which is really awesome. And it helps you figure out who's going to be off, how many providers you have, what their dollar per hour is. You can figure out what it is now. You can project out what next year's goals should be. At a minimum, every single office, if you're not in massive growth mode, should be growing at a minimum of 10% every single year. That's just healthy business. So you have that. If you want to look at this to help you set up your realistic goals, by all means, reach out. hello@thedentallyteam.com. I'm happy to share it with you. This is a great time of year also to be doing it. So you can get our free goal projections calculator. It's something that you guys can do. You guys can easily set this up to now have every role have their role tied to the goal that they need to do. And we start to measure it. And then we're able to check it every single week and course correct quickly of what do we need to do? Are we tracking the right things? Are we not? Are we set up to win the game? And I think about, like, let's again go back to basketball. If you don't watch basketball, well, change it to football. In all of them where they're going to win, when they're looking at the score, if they're behind, it's not like, keep doing defense, guys. No, what they do is they change it. They change the strategy. They say, we're going to do X, Y, or Z. We're going to switch out these players. We're going to course correct faster and see if we get a different result. So for you and your team, have this as a rhythm, have it to where people own their roles, have it to where it's realistic. And I will say, when we're setting up goals, don't go so hard that people feel they can't achieve it. Make sure it's realistic and achievable and attainable for people. I'm not going to go from, like, if you're at 75% overhead, I'm not going to be like, let's get you to 50%. Ultimately, yes, I want you to get to 50%. But I'm going to go, okay, we're at 75. Let's get to 70 this quarter. You're like, Kiera, that's 5%. Like, of course I can do that. Great. Because what I'm trying to do is build massive momentum for you to where you hit these things with ease and you build the momentum rather than it being so hard that you give up before you even start. So with your team, commit to this, reach out for that projections calculator so you can set up a realistic goal for your practice of number of providers, when you're going to hire new ones, all the pieces. It's really awesome. I'd love to help you out with that. Or if you're like, gosh, like, I cannot figure this out. I cannot get my team bought in. I feel like I'm so scattered. Reach out. We're here to help you. hello@thedentallyteam.com. This is what we do. You guys, this is where we want to help you lead with confidence and not chaos. And honestly, if you know a practice struggling with this, you're not struggling, send this podcast to them, help them out. Because I believe that, like, the success platform, like, I think all of us are like climbing the mountain to success. It's huge. Everybody's welcome, and we want everybody there because we want to ultimately help more patients get great dentistry and help more dentists and more practices thrive. So share this, give it to somebody, help them lead with confidence, not chaos. And as always, this is what we do. So reach out. And as always, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time on the Dental Team Podcast.